All right, guys, if you're here, I know something about you guys. First off, you are not creatures of mediocrity. You're looking, you're seeking, you're hoping to do more. And you guys already know one of the things I think about every single person genetically inside you is this common bond for that desire of more. I want to introduce you guys to somebody who I have the pleasure of calling probably the most intimate word, and it's a friend, a partner, someone who I can count on to bring reason and bring inspiration. Bobby Davidowitz is not only a team leader, a coach, a real estate phenom, commercial agent, keynote speaker, but he's someone who truly cares about the agent experience and improving that and bringing us to a spot where we can start building wealth. And, Bobby's magic has always been the power of conversation, the ability to bring someone from where they are to where they want to be. So I hope that you guys take a few moments to enjoy, but also learn in the edutainment that Bobby usually brings to the table on how to enhance what you're already doing and bringing it to a whole nother level. I want to introduce you guys to my friend, my partner, Bobby Davidowitz, AKA Franchise, AKA Big Deal Bob, AKA.
I got a lot of AKAs. I appreciate that, Gil, man. Just a blessing to be partners with you and with all of you guys, really. So let's get started. I created a little something for you guys last night. As always, I'm looking kind of for the God-inspired message that I need to impart, right? Like what's speaking to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. And let me do that. You guys see the screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. So as always, I want to kind of start with a story. And as all good stories start, it all started in the back alley of a nightclub. So let me take you back a little bit, guys. So when I got out of college, I did the typical thing, right? I went to school, I went to high school, and I did all the supposed right things. I got good grades, I played sports, I did all that. But reality is I was just kind of following the crowd, right? Kind of following the society's model for what I was supposed to do. And it was really comfortable and it was really easy up until I graduated from college way back in the day in December of 2000, believe it or not. Okay. So I graduated from college in December, a little early. So it should have been 2001, but it was 2000, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, if you guys know me, it's really hard for me to get depressed. I was feeling depressed because the first time in my life, I had really no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what was next. Like I hadn't really thought about it. So one day I'm living with my mom, my buddy's living with his dad. He comes up to me one day and he's like, "Hey, Bob, I got to move out of my dad's house. You need to move out of your mom's house." He's like, "If we're going to do that, you need to get a job so we can get an apartment." And I was like, "All right, cool." And by the way, I had graduated with, summa cum laude, had all the great grades. And he told me, "Hey man, our buddy got a job at this nightclub. You should go get a job at a nightclub." And I'm like, I guess that's what I'm going to do with my diploma, right? I'm going to go get a job at a nightclub. So sure enough, I start working here and I'm in the back alley and I'm shucking trash cans. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a bar back? I don't know if you guys know that. But bar backs, they basically chuck trash and replace bottles and make sure bartenders have everything. It's not a classy job, if you will. So one day I'm hanging out in the back alley and I meet this other bar back named Steve Festa, right? And we have a lot in common. We have this great conversation. I start asking him about his story and all this stuff. And I find out that Steve Festa wants to be a DJ. Right? Like, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "I want to be a DJ." And I was like, "Well, what's your DJ name?" He's like, "Oh, it's DJ Festa." And I'm like, "Oh, that's freaking awesome." I was like, "Oh, I want to be a rapper." And he's like, "Well, that's freaking awesome, man." I was like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Bobby Franchise." And I'm like, "Oh man, this would be cool. We're gonna have this like great relationship as Franchise and DJ Festa." Right? So we build this bond together. We have this great conversation. We become friends, right? We have a great conversation, right? Now, I'm gonna take you to an old school picture. So here's me and DJ Festa way back in the day. I don't know if you guys recognize what these are. These are called CDs for you young folks. We used to have CDs back in the day. Here's me and Festa in the studio recording one of our original songs, right? I can't even remember what this was, right? But we had this great bond together, right? And sure enough, We stayed friends. We stayed in touch. We had a great conversation that day. And why do I tell you this? Because I just closed a deal with him a couple of days ago. Okay. He bought a property, called me up. This is a guy I've known now for 20 odd years. And, he asked me he wanted to buy a second home. DJ Festa's grown up and he has become has a roofing company. He's doing very, very well with his life. And he said, I want to buy a second home. And I was like, oh man, there's so many great second homes over by Disney. Let me try to sell you one. So I sold him one in Margaritaville. And I'm circling these things so that you understand, this is, I was trying to get a 7% commission from the new constructions there. Missed that one. Okay. But I did get a nice commission. Here was my net commission. I circled this 656 for those who are in EXP and understand that I'm part of the agent equity program. So that 656 actually went to buy stock. And what a great time for your agent equity program to be buying stock right now. Right. And here was my net commission, $12,048. Okay. Here's another deal. This is a deal I sold a couple of years ago, $2.25 million commercial deal. One of the biggest deals I've ever done in my life. So cool. How did that deal happen? Well, here's my college buddy, Adrian. Okay. I met Adrian 20 years ago in college, made friends with Adrian, stayed in touch with Adrian, have a great relationship. Well, Adrian, years and years later, from keeping in touch, Adrian's a big commercial guy, says, you got to meet this guy named Jason Glazer. And here's Jason. Here's me, Gil, and Jason at an event that we set up, right? And so Jason comes in. I meet Jason. He has this great personality, this great energy. And by the way, my friend Adrian is an amazing connector. You guys ever met an amazing connector? Like somebody who just always knows somebody, right? And Adrian's like, you got to meet this guy, Jason, man. He has an incredible energy and you guys just would get along. So sure enough, I showed up to the event that he invited me to. I met Jason and we've been long friends. And to be honest with you, our business relationship continues to grow and grow, but I sold that $2.25 million to his commercial investment company. So what about now? Right now, I'm doing a deal with this guy right here. This is way back in the day, man. This is Pop Warner football. This is a buddy of mine named Brian Gross. Okay. I've stayed in touch with him for years. We don't hang out all the time, but I have a relationship with him. Right. And how did I meet him? Well, there's me right there. There's a little chunky Bob in the front row back when I used to play offensive line. Right. And so why am I telling you all this? Okay. Because you guys oftentimes are trying to overcomplicate this game. And here's the point. If you make more friends, you make more money, period. If you guys are worried about learning real estate, do I have the right tactic? Do I know everything about it? Do I know how to do this, do that? You don't need skills. You need to know how to make friends. That's really how I've gotten every single one of the deals. Every single one of my deals has a story very similar to what I just explained to you guys, right? So let me ask you guys this. We got any introverts in the house? Gil, help me out because you can see everybody. Anybody an introvert?
I got to tell you, I see a couple of them just sitting there right now, twiddling their thumbs. We got a few.
Okay, well, volunteer somebody to speak up for me.
Oh, true introvert. Let me see. Somebody just raise your hand. Don't make me pick you out. I want to say, some of you guys act social, but Melissa, you're a little bit introverted. Melissa?
Did you say Melissa?
Yeah, I said you.
Not exactly.
I don't
think I've
Next.
You weren't paying attention, so I gave it to you.
So obviously, the real introverts don't want to raise their hand, right? They're introverts.
They're afraid we're going to call them.
I can play one on TV.
No, just messing with you, Melissa. Go ahead, Bobby.
Let me get to the point. The point being is this, is if you consider yourself to be an introvert, I believe that there's really no introverts. Only two things have happened here, right? Either early on in your life, you had a bad experience with people and you decided that opening yourself up to a person was scary and bad. And then you don't do it and you call yourself an introvert and say, this is who you are. But I venture to say that if any of you guys are an introvert out there in the audience, that every single opportunity that you've ever gotten in your life has come through a person. Every single one. I wouldn't be part of EXP without knowing a person. I wouldn't have met Gil Ramos if I wasn't drinking at a bar and Jennifer Encarnacion had some girl come talk to me like she liked me just to get my number to talk to me about real estate. Okay. This is how it all went down. And so to me, I don't accept the fact that I'm like, well, I'm an introvert. No, you probably just don't know. Either two things happen. Either you had a bad experience and you consider yourself an introvert because you're blocking people out of your life and human relationships and you feel like having a dog is easier, or you just don't know how to make friends, right? Nobody's ever actually taught you how to be a professional friend. Okay. So let me show you how to do that real quick. Okay. So this is how you become a professional friend, because if you're going to make friends, you got to learn how to be a professional friend. Okay. So rule number one, friends make an effort. Okay. When you guys are out in the world, when you guys are meeting people, you know, it takes, I understand this takes balls, but there's a powerful effect when you have the balls to approach somebody, right? Because many times when you're in public, and I'm sure you've seen this, have you ever looked at somebody, they look back at you and you kind of, you're like, dang, I should go meet that person. And then you get shit scared and then you don't do it, right? Well, guess what? The person who does it really brings a certain level of love to that relationship. Why? Because they had the courage to go up. So friends make an effort, okay? And so understand that whoever makes that effort first really shows the other person that, hey, man, you know what? It was worth bridging this, courage, bridge, right? It just this fear that's in front of me. I broke through that wall to come see you. So number one, friends make an effort. Number two, friends don't have an agenda. And this is very important, guys, because when you build relationships, people smell an agenda, right? Like when you're talking to a client and you're not actually connecting, and you're just really trying to get to that point that you're trying to get to so you can get them to say whether they want to buy or sell or invest with you, guess what? They know it. And when you're making friends, they know it too. Okay. So drop the agenda. Stop being attached to the outcome of things. Trust and believe. What did we say in that poem, Veronica? Real estate is a faith-driven sport. Please have faith that if you don't have an agenda, that the agenda will make itself known, that the agenda will find you, that the opportunity will find you. Number three, friends are genuinely interested. You want to know what my secret is? I actually want to hear the story, right? I'm not asking you a story so that you can ask me my story so that I can tell you my agenda. I actually want to know where you're from, where you come from, how'd you get into business? What made you want to do this? How did you navigate that? Like, I'm genuinely interested. And as my business partner, Gil, always says, curious people make more money. So be genuinely interested. Stop. I think part of the time you guys don't do certain things because you're like, okay, well, there's only one outcome, either get a sale or don't get a sale. And maybe we just need to have a great conversation. And that's what I would submit that you must do. Okay. Number four, friends are professional listeners. This is going to be hard for some of you guys, right? It's going to be hard for you guys because sometimes you are so, dead set on getting your message out, or maybe you like to talk about what you've done and you can't wait for somebody to ask you about you. And you have to just understand that if you start with a heart of like, I'm going to listen and I'm going to get whoever gets the most information wins, which means that you should be shutting up and you should be asking great questions. The curious part, it's not about you. Okay. One of the great things that Gene Frederick said when one of his presentations was, he was saying that he was interviewing an agent to bring on to EXP, a potential agent to bring on to EXP. And the agent started telling a story about how their mom had cancer and they got very emotional. And they said, this is something they're going through. And, Gene was just in there listening and just, and just being a great listener and understanding that it was his time to listen. Well, his wife, Gene's wife, was listening, and she came up to Gene after the lady left. And he's like, Gene, she's like, why didn't you mention that your mom's going through cancer right now? And Gene said, because it's not about me. It's about them. It's about their moment. I don't need to tell them that I have this going on too. This is about them. So be a professional listener. The more information you get, the more you learn about somebody, the more angles you see too. This is where I get all my opportunities. See, sometimes you guys are judging a situation before you even get there, and you don't understand that there's a ton of opportunity in their story that you don't even know about. You don't even know who they're connected to. You don't even know their background. You might be looking for a certain connection that they have, and you would have never known because you're too busy. Okay. And you're not letting them tell their story. Number five, friends give compliments and credit. Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now, you want to make a friend? Give somebody a compliment. right? Notice something about them. Be attentive to them, right? And give them credit for things. Like sometimes I stop people in the store. I say, hey, just real quick, I just want to let you know, like, that takes a lot of courage to do what you just did. And I just give them some credit, right? And it lets them know, one, that I'm listening to them, but two, that, hey, I noticed this. I noticed that, you really put yourself together today to show up here. I noticed that you went through a tough time, but you survived through it. So you give them credit. Okay. 6, friends stay in touch. And I want to say stay in touch because it sounds more friendly, but it's follow up, right? One thing Gil always says is like, dude, Bobby, you're great at follow up. It's like, dude, I don't forget, right? If I meet you and I think you're an interesting person and I think you're a person I need to know, you will hear from me. I will set up a time for us to meet, a time for us to get some coffee, lunch, drinks, dinner, whatever. I will invite them to something. I'm like, oh man, Jim would really like this. I'm going to invite Jim, and I got him all on my list, right? I understand. I was like, oh man, Jim would love this. Okay. This is especially great for agent attraction, guys. Like, you should have a list of people you meet and bring them in. Same thing with clients. It's like, oh man, this would be a value add for Cindy. Like, I'm going to make sure that I follow up with Cindy and give her something that that shows that I listen to them and that I'm one of their friends. Number 7, this is a big one, guys. Friends bring positivity, not drama. Okay. Here's the thing, you don't want to be the friend that's always complaining about something. You don't want to be the friend who's a gossip. Because guess what, guys? What do you guys think when you hear somebody who gossips about everybody else? What are you naturally going to think? Even if you don't know you're thinking it, you're thinking about, well, what are they saying about me when I'm not around? Well, that's not a friend you want to be close to, right? So if you want to be a great friend, you don't gossip around people, talk about other people, because it says something about you. Okay. And then number 3 is, and these are my 3 most common things that I see. The third one is victim mentality. You ever met somebody that just frames everything as if they're a victim to something, right? You don't want to bring that kind of negativity into people's lives. It's just like, because the reality is everybody's got their own problems, and guess what? A lot of people's problems are worse than yours, right? So to me, bringing in, oh, I'm a victim of this, I'm a victim of that, I brings me back to when I used to play football back, and I had this crazy ass coach, and he said I came in one day, and he used to just say these one-liners, and he said, once there was a man who was disgruntled because he had no shoes, and then he went around the corner and found a man who had no feet. And I'm like, what the hell is my coach talking about? Well, he's talking about this. It's talking about, like, your problems ain't that bad. Trust me, we can find somebody who has worse problems out there. Number 8, friends are great connectors, guys. Be the type of person, if you become great at being friends, it means you know a lot of people, which means a lot of people come to you to connect them to things. I'm connecting people to things all day long. You need something? I know this person. You need something? I know this person. You need this? This is where you get it done. Well, guess what? If they're coming to you for that, they're going to come to you for real estate, right? They're going to be the person. You're going to be that person that connects them to everything. And obviously, when you talk to them and you mention, hey, if you ever need anything pertaining to real estate or anything else, you come to me, okay? If I don't got it, I'll find it for you, okay? Number 9. Ooh, this is a big one. This is a big one. Friends keep their word, okay? So, and a lot of times you guys think that this is like a big thing. You got to understand, if you don't keep your word on the small things, people think you're not going to keep your word on the big things. Okay. So let me give you a small example. You ever had somebody who invites you to something? Hey, will you come, to my birthday thing? You're like, oh yeah, I'll make it there. I'll see you there. Yeah. Cool. But deep down, you like never really checked your schedule, and you didn't really know if you can come, and you're probably 50-50 you're going to go. And guess what? You told them you were coming. And when you don't show up for people, they remember, even on the small things, guys. So here's my trick. If I know I can't make it, I'll tell them that I can't. But if I can, I'll let them know. Okay. Be honest with people up front. Hey, you know what? I do have something on my schedule at that point in time, but if I can move it, I will. If not, whatever. Don't make promises. Don't make promises you cannot keep. People will remember, trust, and believe. And this is the final one right here, guys. And this is the hardest one, I'm telling you. But I left it for last because if you figure this one out in life, in business, and everything, you will solve everything. Because once you have this, everything else figures itself out. And it's friends have awareness. What is awareness? Awareness is the ability to evaluate situations. It's the ability to evaluate yourself, right? Like there's times, like when I'm in a situation and I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. Like I could feel the energy change just now when I said that. That's being aware. Or, you're having this great conversation, somebody busts in the room and does something, and immediately you're like, oh my God, this whole dynamic just changed, right? That's awareness, but also being able to be self-aware and say, hey, you know what? I could have done that better, right? Like if I could do that better, I can get a different result. And in this particular case, I want you to have more friends, because more friends equals more money in real estate. Guys, you do not sell real estate. You build relationships. Real estate sells itself. It's like drugs. You don't sell drugs. People want drugs, they get them. Guess what? Everybody needs a home, right? Everybody needs a home. So you don't actually have to sell real estate. And by the way, if you're worried that you don't have the skills right now because you have to learn some amazing thing before you can start doing real estate, please understand that all you have to do is make friends. Very little of real estate is done in the moment, right? Gil will tell you the answer to most real estate question is it depends. You know what it depends means? It means there's more research to be done, which you can do behind the scenes. You don't have to be the know-it-all. You have to be the person who asks great questions. That's what a great friend does. So you have homework, okay? Here's your homework. You have to make 5 new friends this week. Okay. If you want to make more money, you have to make more friends. You have to have more conversations, period. Bottom line. I'm telling you right now, if you don't know how to write a contract, I don't care. If you don't know how to do an MLS search, I don't care. If you don't know how to analyze an investment property, I don't care, because until you make a friend, you don't have a deal. Okay. Deals over everything, right? And one thing that Gil said in this book that he read one time, Gil, tell him the book, but this is what the book said. First page says, people want to do business with their friends whenever possible. Flips the page. People want to do business with their friends even when it's not so possible. That's how badly people want to do business with their friends. Yep. Like they don't care what's the book, Gil?
The little red book of networking, one of the most powerful books that taught me how to, while I'm an introvert by nature, a true introvert, how to actually take the skills you got to the next level by just introducing friends. Guys, I just want to tell you, first off, my friend, you crushed it. I think I actually wrote a ton of notes. I was like, dude, I need to learn how to do this, man, how to get more friends. But I do want to just interrupt before he just finishes it out here. It's like, what's the actionable item you need to do? You already know you have to get some homework, right? Can you challenge yourself? Can you not just take this as a regular Zoom and just move from one Zoom to another and say to yourself, I'll give him 5 more calls. Yeah, sure, I'll do that, and not have integrity with yourself? Can you actually do that? And can you actually do what number 6 said? Right? What was number 6? It was about, friends stay in touch. And, one of the best scripts I've ever heard anyone say is, I was just thinking about you. And some of you guys have some people that you have relationships for a long time that you just need to go out and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And maybe you'll get the same results that Bobby has. So Bobby, got 2 more minutes. If you want to just shut us down,
yeah,
it's on your show.
So some of you guys so your homework, once again, you wrote this down. You have to have 5 new people this week. Not people you already know, but 5 new people. So I know you're asking what, some of you introverts out there are like, why were you 5 people? It's really simple, guys. You got to go outside. Okay. You got to go outside. Where do people hang out? They're out there in the world. They're not at your house. Okay. They're in all sorts of places. So when I call outside, I put this picture up because it's one of my favorite SNL skits with Big Papi, where he says he created a new dating website. It's called Go Outside. Right? Go outside. There's people everywhere, right? So where do you find them? Here you go. Guess what, guys? COVID is over. Okay. Not necessarily, but the events are back, right? If you've been out, events are back. This is how I meet most of my people. I go places. Events could be anything, guys. I told you the only reason I am sitting here business partners with Gil is because I went to a bar, an event that was held at a bar. I don't care where the event is. You need to be going to events multiple times a week. You need to be putting yourself in new circles. Number 2, regular life, guys. Guys, I can't tell you how many deals I've done at the gym. Like I make friends at the gym all the time. I offered to spot a guy the other day. His name's Brian. Just making connections, making a friend. You know what? He was so happy that I offered just to spot him, you know, because I could tell I was aware. He was looking around. You ever been in the gym and somebody's kind of looking around and they're kind of scared to talk and hey man, you need a spot? Yeah, bro, could you? Absolutely. What's your name, bro? Brian. Awesome, man. Bobby. You know, regular life, the supermarket. I don't care where people gather. Number 3, join an organization, guys. Find something you're passionate about and join the organization. I'm part of the South Downtown Development Board right now. I'm very passionate about the South Downtown region and the development that's going to be going on in the future. So somebody invited me to join a board and I was like, yep. Well, guess what? Every month I meet twice a month with business leaders, with affluent people, with politicians that are all part of the same organization as me. And guess what? It's really easy to make friends when you're contributing. And then number 4, seminars and conferences. We just came back from Cabo, obviously the conference, but there's a million conferences. I met that friend Jason I told you about earlier at a commercial real estate conference I was invited to. So make sure you guys show up places. I know that we're past the time, but that's it, Gil. I'm closing it out on that.
As always, another super successful Monday, Momentum Monday. I hope to see you guys next week. But listen, the big thing about this is about adding to your business. And the only way you do it is by taking action. So have the courage to find go outside and find 5 new people. But go a little farther, go a little deeper, be interested in what they've got. And when you're interested in them, man, that's the most beautiful thing you can give someone. So I hope that you take this to heart. I hope that you have some big checks like my boy here, Bobby Franchise, big deal, Bob, and go out there and have a super productive week. You guys take care. Be well.
Love you guys. Be blessed.